So here we are at Proctor's Ledge, and this area was recently dedicated as a memorial site because the Historical Foundation of Salem went through all the records for years and years trying to determine where the actual site where the witches were hanged was. And through the documentation, sketchings that were in old books and testament letters, they found this location right here at the top of the hill. And this is where the gallows were actually built to hang the witches from the Salem witch trials. There are stones in here to memorialize each person that was hanged. So there are a couple missing that were killed because they were not hanged, but they were hanged right up here at the top of this hill. Now, the story and the information that I can gather is a lot of people say that the bodies of witches were considered cursed. So this ledge that's up here that then bluffs down off the back end of this, they would actually just cut them from the gallows and let the body go in the ditch, and that's where they stayed. Some people, what I've heard is there were a few people that actually came and gathered their loved ones and buried them, but for the most part everybody stayed in the ditch, and that is just a terrible thing. Tell you what, it is kind of weird feeling here. It's sandwiched between some residential spaces. You know, there's a house on either side of this and there's a house in front of me, but then it's just crazy winding roads that it's just nuts to think they built roads that way. I mean, holy moly. But just looking behind me, and you can totally get an imagery of a gallows being built on top of this big granite slab that's up here as a foundation for it, because it overlooks everything. It's kind of a higher point in this whole area, and you can absolutely picture a gallows sitting right up here, just so everyone can see, to make a political statement over this issue. That is, it's terrible. Actually, it's terrible. Tons of places to come see here in Salem, but this is somber, very, very somber. I'm going to start over here and we're going to read everybody's names. I've got an EVP recorder going too, so if there's anybody that wants to say something to us while we're here, please just speak into my EVP recorder and say what you got to say. So first we have Bridget Bishop, Sarah Good, Elizabeth Howe, Susanna Martin, Rebecca Nurse, Sarah Wilds, Reverend George Burroughs. Can you believe that? They went after a reverend too. Martha Carrier, George Jacobs Sr., John Proctor. That's a famous name, John Proctor. John Willard, Martha Corey, Mary Eastie, Alice Parker, Mary Parker, Ann Puditer, Wilmot Red, Margaret Scott, Samuel Wardwell. Those were the people that were hanged for witchcraft. Your eyes are just naturally drawn to the top of this hill too. It's interesting. It's almost like nature framed it. All the lines lead up there to bring your eye to that center point up at the top of this hill. It's terrible, terrible what they did here. Terrible, terrible what they did here. Whoa. I thought I just heard footsteps in this grass up here. Like this stuff crunching. It's so hard to tell though, because there's a lot of ambient noise. It could have easily been something else, but I have really, really, really good hearing. Huh, that was strange. I think on that note, we're gonna step away from this site, but man, just something else. If you haven't ever read the Crucible, you need to read that. The history behind everything that happened here is terrifying while also being fascinating. You just can't believe, you know, and a lot of it's our time perspective, our perspective on the situation and the issues, because, well, things have changed quite significantly with how we go about pursuing truth and justice. But I physically cannot fathom a process where someone has to prove their innocence. It makes it way too easy to manipulate a system. Way too easy. I would rather a guilty person be set free than innocent people going to jail or being killed. So it's just, the system of justice back then did not protect the people at all. And this is a glaring example of the government of the time failing the people. 100% failing the people. It's ridiculous. It really upsets me. It makes me angry. And people wonder why we don't trust our governments. Well, there you go. Oh, and here comes the wind. So on that note, I want to turn the camera off, because probably all you're going to hear is we're going to go to a couple more locations. So until then, I'm Chad with the Ghost Geeks. Make sure you like and follow us on Facebook and here on YouTube for more content like this. Until next time, from Salem, Massachusetts, we'll see you later.